Hello, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to cover closure inside JavaScript. I will talk about in which kind of scenario it will cause a closure. And inside a closure, we have to talk about the free variables and what are they. Okay, before we mention the closure, we have to review what is a nested function. Okay, a nested function is a function decide or is a function created inside another function. So we call that function is nested. And what is closure? This definition is very long, and I just copy from MDN. Okay. But for personally, because I worried my English cannot give you best answer, so I just copied here, but it's very long, probably from after reading, you probably won't understand well. But we will give a demo, and I will show you what is a closure. Okay, a closure is a combination of functions bundled together, enclosed with a reference to the surrounding environment, which is a lexical environment. Basically, is because of nested function, if we return and the surrounding environment is already popped out from the stack, and in the nested function, after we return, we still reference the state in the something in the surrounding environment already popped out some stack. That's why it will create a closure. Okay. In other words, a closure gives you access to an outer function scope from its inner function. In JavaScript, closure are created every time a function is created at function create time. So let me first explain what is a closure, in which kind of scenarios it will create a closure. Okay, let me show you. Should I use? I have we use the hold, and this is a piece of code. Okay, let's walk through the code first. I create a first name, which my name actually Tina, and here I have function. Okay, in the function I have a variable last name here, and then I have a inner function, nested function, which display name greeting, and in the greeting in the function body I have a greeting from first name and last name. Okay, this is a temporary literal which will refer. It doesn't have error. Okay, just refer for the first and last name, and when we return the display name is a function, and then we call this function, make a call, and then I assign the return value to my func, my function. Okay, this moment my func should be referred as this display name. Okay, in this case, after we make a call to the function, this last name is already popped out from the stack. So here I still refer as the last name. So how can I get that, right? So in this case, it will create a closure. Now let me draw for you guys. Okay. Pretty simple. Now let me draw from here. Let me here have a dot here. Okay, just now I added because I'll make the text larger. Yes, it's large. I think it's large enough, probably too large. It's a little bit too large. Okay, anyway, I think we can do like this one. Let me make it to be another line, because otherwise it's a little bit too large for us. Okay, like this way. Okay, so now I'd like to draw the execution context with you guys, so you will know, after I draw, you will know how the closure is actually happened. Let me unplug in this one, then plug in again. Doesn't work for me, and normally when I unplug and plug in again, it will work. This one is very thick. I'm using this one instead. Okay, now because I'm using marker, that's why. Okay. Okay, So I will draw first one. Oh, my face. Okay, I think it should be fine. My face is hiding this part, but it should be fine. It's a global global execution context and still from a creation phase. In the creation phase lexical environment, we ask us the questions. Okay, what do we have any variable declared with var? No, in global environment we don't know. Do we have any variable declared with let and const? Yes, we have. One is first name, the other one is my function. So in this case, I will put inside TDZ, I will put first name, I'll put my func here, right, in my TDZ. And now, do I have any function declaration? Yes, we do. What it is? It's called a make function, and the entire function will gonna be hoisted creation phase, right? And then we do have what? We do have an outer, it's called global. No, because outer for global is a none, right? No, okay. And now we are done creation phase, we are go to execution phase. In the execution phase, we walk through the code line by line. So the first line const first name equal Tina. We will move out the first name from TDZ and add into our lexical environment with the value is Tina. Okay. And then we execute continue function declaration skip. Now we do the next one is const my func equals make fun. Whenever we see a equal sign will require two steps. First one, we will execute the second part, which we will execute the right side. And after execution of the right side, it will do what? It will assign a value to the left side. So first step, we have to execute the right side. So executed right side is a make a function call, right? Now we have to check in my global lexical environment, do I have a function named make function? Yes, we find, right? When we find it, we will create a function execution context, which is make function functional execution context, right? And we still from the creation phase. In the creation phase lexical environment, what are you gonna have? We take a look at ask the questions. Do I have any variable declared with var? No. Do I have any variable declared with let and const? Yes. In my TDZ, what do we have? Last name. Okay. And do I have any function declaration? Yes, we have. What it is? It's called a display name. Okay. And then we still need to deal with arguments, but this one don't have any arguments, so I will have arguments length is 0. Okay, and I do have what? I do have outer is what? Global, because this function is inside the global make function, right? Now we will go through execution phase. In the execution phase, start with the first line in your function body. The first line is const last name equals xing. So we will move our last name from the TDZ, then add inside the add in the lexical environment called xing. And then we function declaration skip. Now we will return the function display name. Okay. As we know, when we return, what's gonna happen? Let me make a copy here. Okay, wait me for a second. Yeah, I cannot make a copy. Okay, okay. So what's gonna happen when we return? When we return, that means the function is done, right? When the function is done, we have to do what? We have to pop out from the stack, right? Because function is done. make function is done. So we have to pop out, and when we pop out, okay, when we pop out, we will come back to the global environment, and still we are paused on this. We are paused on this statement. So the first step is done. Then I have to give a return value to my func, right? So in this case, I'll remove my func out from the TTC. I will add my func and give a function. This function should be display name, point to that, right? So from this already has the closure created, but from what we do here we don't see. But now let me execute this function to you guys. Okay, so next statement is execute my func. So do I have my func, my function? Yes. And is it a function? Yes. So now we can execute it. So when we execute, we can say create another my func functional execution context, still from creation phase. In the creation phase, the lexical environment, what do we have? Do I have any variable declaration declared with a var let constant? No. Do I have any function declaration inside the display name? No. So I will deal with a greeting. In this case, when I call greeting, I didn't have a function here. Okay? I didn't pass a value here. So this greeting will become undefined because I didn't pass value. I forgot. Okay, and we do have arguments. What's the arguments? Arguments is I didn't pass anything, so its length is 0. Okay, and then we do have outer. What's the outer? Outer, take a look at based on lexical environment. Lexical environment means based on the source code. My display name is defined in the make function. So the outer here is a make func, right? And then we will do what's the execution phase. Execution phase will execute the code from the first line of the display name. So the first line is just to console log greeting from first name, last name. So now problem is first I have to find those variables, right? Do I have a greeting? Yes, I do have undefined, okay? Undefined. So here I will have this part is undefined from first name. So in my lexical environment, do I have first name? I don't have. If I don't have, what's gonna happen? I'm going to follow my outer. My outer is what? Make function. But now think about it here. Based on the diagram, do we have make function in our stack now? We don't. If we do like this way, right? We don't, because why? Because when the make function is done, it's already popped out from the stack. So if the program works like this way, then it's gonna have problem because it cannot have a first name and it cannot have last name because first name is inside the global. We cannot reach it because out is make function. Last name is inside the make function, which is already popped out from stack. So that is when the closure gonna be created, because here our inner function after return, we return an inner function. We return a nested function, and in the nested function, it asks the usage of the global, or it asks something from the outer state, which in our case is a make function. That's why we need to have a closure, okay? And that is why closure is happened and created, okay? So now let me show you how gonna be a closure, okay? Closure happened is actually when we create this my function, the closure is already happened, okay? So I want to just the other part is exact same. The only change part is let me draw from scratch, but I'm gonna do a little bit faster, okay? So here you guys understand that here has a problem, right? Here have problem, okay? Because it's popped out, you cannot find it, okay? And now let me draw the closure. What's gonna happen when JavaScript do it, okay? Actually, when this function being created, it's already have there, but we have to draw is when we call it, okay. Okay, I don't need to. Okay, now I will do a little bit faster. Okay, because the only thing change is the closure time, which is when when we call. Actually, when we assign, it's already have, but I will do when we call it. Okay. Just still go back to the other screen. So now let's take a look at. Okay, but we're still here. Okay. So now I will draw again. Here we will have a global EC creation phase, okay, lexical environment, and we will have what? We will just have a make func make function, and it's a function, and have a outer is global. Okay, I will do fast now. Then in the TDZ we will have first name. TDZ will have first name, and what's the other one? My func, right? Okay, and then we will go to execution phase. This part is a global. Okay, this part is a global. And TDZ the first name and last name. Okay, and execution phase we will make the first name is Tina. Okay, and make function skip, and then we will execute make function the first step, right? So I do have a make function, so I will create a make function execution context. Still go to the creation phase. In the creation phase, we will populate the lexical environment. And for the lexical environment, we will have what? We will have a display name. Okay, which is a function. And in TDZ, we will have what's the in TDZ, we will have what? TDZ will have last name. And it do have what? It do have arguments. Arguments which length is 0. And it do have what? Outer is what? Global, right? And then we go to the execution phase. We go to execution phase. Execution first line, make the last name equals Xing inside the global lexical environment, and the function declaration skip, right? And then we return. I've already made a copy here, so this is gonna become my function execution context. Okay. Before I pop out, so I made a copy here. Okay, so just here I'll just erase this part because it's going to be popped out. Okay, this part. Okay, yeah, sorry, my bad. Doesn't work very well. I'm using this one. This one is when I'm using pencil, it's better than the mouse. That's why I'm using mouse. Okay, it's pulled out. Okay, I actually when we return to my function, the closure is already created, but here I cannot draw anywhere here, so I will draw is when we do make a call. Okay, so here we will have my notice color. What happened? It goes okay. It's still here. Okay, it scared me. Okay, so here I will assign this is step, and we will assign a value back, right? So here I will have my function, and which is function. Okay, moved out from TDZ. So I will make a function call. When we make a function call, it will have my function functional execution context start from creation phase. In the creation phase, we have a lexical environment. Okay, and here what's gonna happen? Here we will have a greeting is undefined. Okay, and we will have what's thing? We will have arguments. Arguments is length 0 because when I make a call to this function, I didn't pass anything, so length is 0. And when we have outer, the outer is called a make function. And now, okay, it actually this part will have a closure inside this lexical execution context. It's gonna have a closure, okay, inside here. You can think this is being reserved, is being copied, okay. So what is the closure here? The closure gonna become this part, become the make functions. It will become make functions lexical environment. You can think this piece is actually closure over here, which is the copy is reserved. Okay, you can think the whatever I show you guys inside the what's thing inside the green part is the closure. Okay. Okay, this part. Okay, I'll erase this too. Okay, and I will draw it back. Okay, wait me for a second. So this one should have one thing here, and this one should have a exe execution. Okay, so now I will. This part is our closure. This part. Closure over what? Closure over the environment, which is the make function. So now let's take now we go to execution phase. Okay, we go to execution phase of my function. Execution phase, just execute. Do I have a greeting? Yes, I have a greeting which is undefined. So you will have undefined from. Do I have first name in my lexical environment? I don't have. If I don't have, what's gonna happen? Follow my outer. The outer is go where? Outer is go to my function. So this part is my function's lexical environment, right? Do I have first name? I don't have, but I have outer. Outer is global. So we will go to global. Global, do I have a first name? Yes, I have. So here you will have Tina. Okay, then we go to last name. In my function, inside my function of lexical environment, do I have last name? I don't have. So I follow my outer. Outer is make function. This here is my closure. Okay, so do I have last name? Yes, I have. So you will have Xing. Find it. So whatever you see inside the green part is a closure. Okay, closure is created when we guys return a nested function. It's going to have a closure happen. Okay, I hope you guys understand. But next one, what is a free variable? Free variable, from my understanding, are variables that are first, those variables are inside the nested function, okay, and being returned the nested function are variables that are not declared and passed as a not declared locally, not passed as a parameter, and not in global environment. And an easy way to show you what is a free variable is when inside this display name, if you refer anything, if inside the display name, inside display name, if inside this display name you refer anything which is inside the green box, okay, you refer anything inside closure which is green box, then that variable is a free variable. So now take a look at inside the body. First one, I'm trying to find a greeting. So is a greeting inside a green box? No, because greeting is in my own lexical environment. So greeting is not. Now let's find out the first name. First name. So I don't have first name. First name is where? First name is inside the global. So first name is not a free variable. Now let's take a look at last name. Where is the last name? Last name is in the green, the square, okay, green rectangle box. So last name is a free variable. And now let's take a look at again about the last name. So last name here, okay. Last name, what is free variable? Free variables are variables not pass an arguments and not declared locally. Suppose here I have a var or let I equals 0, okay? And this I is defined locally. I is not a free variable, okay? Not passed as arguments, not declared locally. Locally here means declare a variable inside display name. They are not. Because if you declare locally, it's gonna be put in your own lexical environment. So it's not a free variable. And not include those things inside the global environment, which is here. First name is a global environment. Global environment still exists inside our stack. So we don't treat it as a free variable, okay? And only the thing inside the closure green box actually is a local variable defined. It's a local variable or parameters defined inside the where it's inside your out function, which is the make function. Then it's gonna become free variable, okay? I have one more thing to go, which suppose for this one, if you want to find out free variable, right, you actually can using console the dir, then it will tell you it will create a free variable, it will create a closure, and what's a free variable, okay? Let me execute this piece of code to show you guys. I can just execute the entire of them, okay? I quit it, or what I'm doing. Wait me for a second. Okay, I have to copy. Control A, Control C. Okay, I have to open browser. Okay, and then I will open what? I will open the inspect. I will go to console. Then I put this piece of code here. Okay, and you will see to print. Okay. And this one is for the display name, which is my function. This part, and this undefined from Tina is when we call this my function, and we care about this function display name. Okay, here display name. Here you see a scope, and can you see the closure? And the closure is what? Closure is over the last name. It doesn't closure over the first name because the first name is still in the global environment. And you can use this one to take a look at what's the closure here. And for the browser Chrome, if you don't have free variable, it won't list any closure here. Suppose in our, I make a change to this one. Here, I don't have variable to be used. I don't use the last name. Okay. Okay, just the first name and this one. Now I go back to here. I open another one. Inspect. Console. I put it here again. And then we go here. And now you can see here. It doesn't list the closure, but it actually has closure. Okay, see here. It have closure last name. And last name is a free variable, but if it doesn't have free variable, it doesn't list the closure here, but it should have a closure. Because why? Because if we don't have free variable, okay, if we don't have this free variable, and it doesn't have, if it also doesn't have this closure, what's gonna happen? It can still cannot find the first name because the outer of my function is a make function. It's not a global. So you need to have this outer inside a closure to find the first name. It's just we don't have any free variable, right? But it do have a closure. Okay. So I think that's all the things I want to cover about the closure of this example. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and understand the closure well. I will see you next time. Bye bye.